All right, we are at the Walnut house. Wanted to do kind of a final walkthrough. We are basically done. Kyla's doing a little bit of cleanup, touch-up paint stuff, but we are pretty much done. This house is listed for rent, has been for a week or so now, a couple weeks maybe. So just want to do a quick walkthrough and kind of show you the final result of what it is. Our apologies for being away for a while. Unfortunately, our GoPro camera died, and the hard drive that Kyla has that has all of our footage on it has gone bunk on us, and it would cost $1,500 to get the data back. So obviously for a tiny little YouTube channel, we can't really do that. So she'll try to cut in a little bit of stuff here and there that we have as we walk through, but yeah, that's why we kind of stopped making videos. Unfortunately, we just basically lost it all. So I'll do a walkthrough and kind of talk with you a little bit about what we did. This may be a bit long, but if you want to see the final results and kind of hear the story of stuff, this is what we figured is the best way to do it. So here's the outside front. I'll go over to the side here first. I don't know if we ever got around to showing it, but basically this entire side of the house had a bunch of weird trees. They were really just like weeds that had grown up into trees, that had kind of taken this all over and were hanging down, and they were grown up through a fence that was there. It was just a big disaster. So we took them down with a battery-powered chainsaw and a ratchet strap. We chopped them down bit by bit, dangerously. The bids were just too high to have somebody do it, so we had to do it ourselves. You can see the HVAC is here, and my little jimmy-rigged fencing just to kind of keep it safe. My HVAC guy wanted something to protect it before he put it in. He was just not comfortable. And so we built that just to make sure that he was happy. So yeah, I don't know that it's really necessary, but so the house does have all brand new HVAC, central heat and air. It never had any of that. It only had a floor furnace that has been condemned for several years. So the house basically had no heat or cooling for several years. So here is our living room now. If you recall, there were couches piled up here and kind of sitting on top of each other. There was dog poop everywhere. There was a TV over here covered in spider webs. There were toys over here covered in cockroach poop, rancid carpet. So with this room, we've literally rebuilt the floor from the foundation up. Once we started taking the flooring off, we found that there's quite a bit of termite damage in the joists. So all new joist work through here, updated outlets. Some of the electrical in here is updated, some of it is the same. Nice new light fixture, paint, trim, that kind of stuff. Here's where the biggest change to the house is. This was the dining room of despair. Super depressed room, super sad. There was double windows here that you could see down through the wall. You could see into the crawl space and see out into the yard. So we deleted that entirely, closed all that up, and instead created a laundry room. And of course, this is where the furnace and the water heater sit. Originally, the laundry and the water heater were out in the garage, which is a detached garage. So obviously there's a whole lot of problems there. At some point, the previous owners jimmy-rigged the water heater into the kitchen, which I believe we've shown before. That was dangerous and stupid. So we've got everything done up to code. All of this has been inspected by the city with permits and all that stuff. So it's all nice and properly done. So you've got a little bit of a dining space here, or you could use it as like a computer room or something weird. We put some simple barn doors up so that it's nice and easy to get in and out of, but the doors don't open and close, or when they're open, they don't take up a bunch of floor space. And because our floor is a little bit funky through here, it made it easier so we didn't have to try to match heights with door jambs or anything like that. So we'll go to the bedrooms and the bathrooms. So front bedroom. This room was the bouncy room. When you walked in, the floor would bounce up and down. We ultimately found a massive amount of joists and had termite damage. A little bit of the walls, but not too bad. So we addressed all of that. That's really about all we've done in here. Some plaster repair, New wiring in this room. Extensive paint and trim work. Kind of repaired the shelving. New windows. All the windows are brand new. So this is a nice, big, spacious room with two big closets, or a big closet and a decent sized closet. So it's a pretty nice space, really. I like this room. So all new flooring underneath, so it's nice and solid to walk on, and it's just a nice space. Here's the bathroom. Basically a full gut. Everything's new plumbing, new electrical, new fixtures, new flooring, mostly new walls. Some of the drywall stayed, but most of it came out. So it's a small bathroom for sure. It's nice, it's functional, but it is for sure small. Don't know what else to really tell you about the bathroom, but there it is. We left the hall cabinets in. They're just nothing special. So this is the back room. This is where a whole lot of the work went. We spent several weeks back here. These two walls are completely rebuilt from the foundation up, as is the entire flooring system underneath here, through the bathroom and into that bedroom. All new joist work throughout. Those are the new walls. This is the spot that was literally collapsing, that you could see bowed out from the outside. So yeah, it's all new. It's all nice and solid. Again, passed all inspections. Yeah, I'm kind of proud of this one, what we did in this room, what it was and what it is. This was one of those rooms. This room was the space I dreaded the most, never wanted to go into, ever. Had a really hard time even starting work in this room, but now it's a fantastic bedroom, nice and big, really nice. I really like it. So then we go to the kitchen. I believe one of our last videos was of the kitchen, the cockroach infestation. We showed you guys when we were kind of cleaning it out. I don't know if we showed you the demo stuff, but we basically flipped it, right? So this is on a concrete slab. So when it was time for plumbers to come in, they were concerned because the sink was originally over here and it was lead pipe for the drain, and they were concerned about this bend right here because it comes down and goes this way. They were concerned, all of them were concerned about that. So we came up with the idea to just flip the sink over to this side because that's all crawl space. And there was new plumbing going in because of the laundry room and the water heater. So there's already gonna be a big trunk drain line going that way to the stack, which is basically under the toilet. So it saved us a bunch of money and time and effort to just flip the sink. It's fine, it's just a mirror image of what it would have been. Quartz countertops. Kyla had the idea to do kind of open shelves just for some extra storage and also save us a little bit of money. We should have, Kyla had the idea after the fact, we should have done an opening here so you could see into the house. That's what we should have done there, but we didn't think about it until well after the fact. So whatever, small price to pay. So concrete floor, new flooring, all new cabinets, new sink, all that stuff. The appliances aren't new because it's a rental. If we were to sell it, we would have put new appliances in, but that is not the plan. This was all extensive termite damage. All of these walls have a fair bit of new framing in them, some of them completely new framed, because there was termite damage throughout here. And so that's all been redone, this wall as well. It's just kind of a blank space. People can do whatever they want with this area of the kitchen. A little awkward, but. And then you get to the back room. This is where our very first video, I think, started, or maybe our second, because our first was a walkthrough. This is where that giant creepy bed was. The big 4-post bed was here. A lot of drug paraphernalia and just rancid floors from them dumping out their bong water all over the place. This is ultimately what it has turned into, just a nice big master bedroom, or it could be a second living room if you don't have that many people living in the house. Unfortunately, because of how the budget got stretched, the fireplace didn't get the work done that we wanted. So it's not a working fireplace. The closets are shallow. So, you know, there's a few things that are not ideal, but we added a built-in shelf. We basically do this whenever we run into a situation where there's a wall that needs repair, but it would be a massive job to fix. Instead of ripping all the walls off because it's paneling, we just throw in an inexpensive shelf, kind of attach it, build it in. It covers the hole and adds some function to the space. Yeah, I'll show you a little bit of the backyard. Not much really to write home about for the rest of this stuff, but not much has been done to the backyard aside from extensive cleaning. I've started fence repair after the tree crushed the fence there. Again, stuff that we didn't get to show you guys. Yeah, I guess I should mention that this whole patio used to be covered. I think you probably see that in one of the walkthrough videos. But that tree right there, that's it laying on its side. That's the stump. 4-foot diameter tree fell and crushed this porch, and obviously fell and crushed that fence and landed over there. It was touching the neighbor's garage. Didn't do any damage there, but big tree. Yeah, so we had to just demo that, get rid of it. So the budget didn't allow us to have professionals come in and do the fencing like we would have liked. It just got eaten up with this other stuff. So that's about it with the backyard. We're not gonna do much until somebody rents it. Same thing with the garage. We've cleaned out the garage, kind of demoed a little bit of like water damage, stuff like that. But basically the backyard and the garage, we are leaving fairly untouched until somebody lives here for a bit and we see how they want to use it. You could go a few different directions with that garage. In theory, you could build the whole thing out into a little separate apartment, living space if you really wanted to. Or it could be a workshop, or it could just be a spot for storage, or it could be a spot to actually park a car. And you would do different things with the garage depending on how they want to use it, because there is a divider wall and some cabinets and different things in there. So same thing with the shed. We may just have the shed hauled off, but if the renters want it to stay, then we'll put some money into kind of fixing that up. But it might not be necessary if they're just using the garage for storage. So you get the idea, right? We're just going to kind of wait and see what renters want to do with it. And then we will invest accordingly to kind of customize it to what they would like. The other big improvement to this place was this area out here. I'm not super thrilled with how it ended up framed out, and it got me in a little bit of hot water with the inspectors, but it all worked out. But this, if you remember, I think we showed you in one of our videos, this was all collapsing. The gutter had fallen off. It was just toast, water damage. The gutter was too full of crud, and so water was flowing back into the rafters or whatever you'd call these, and it was just rotting it out. It actually wasn't that badly damaged once the guys started ripping it down. The hard part was trying to get it all to drain correctly, and so my roof guy wanted to reframe it with this angle, and so it's all been completely reframed. I'm not thrilled with it, but it's fine. The inspector saw it when he was here doing our final walkthrough and failed us. He didn't look at it when he was doing framing inspection, but he looked at it when he was doing the final walkthrough. Basically, he had us come in and put a bunch of lag bolts in it and then put the joist hangers on. He was reasonable. Technically, that should be a 2x8 ledger board. So he wasn't real thrilled with that. He was about to make us take it all out and get a 2x8 ledger board up in there, which I mean, I don't know how in the world you do that. So he was reasonable to work with, and I appreciate that. So we got that all to where he was comfortable with it. So it makes a nice space, right? You've got this whole covered driveway, which is the length of the house. And then you've got this nice covered porch that then goes into your detached garage. We've got a door there and a door on the other side, so you can go in and out either way if you want to get into the garage. It makes for like a really neat little space. Yeah, it's a neat little space. So that's that. Yeah, that's really it, probably in a nutshell. Anything else, Kyla, that you would want to tell them about the property?
I think you covered it all.
Yeah, that should be pretty much it. There's a million little stories we were hoping to tell you guys as we made the videos. We were just kind of hoping to bring people along with us to show them what it takes. But, you know, life happens. We lost the data, unfortunately. Probably a few hundred hours worth of filming.
It's heartbreaking.
It's gone.
So much stuff.
So that's a bummer. And our GoPro, the second one we've had, it's toast. So no more GoPros. So the house overall, I'm happy with it. I'm not thrilled with it. There are definitely things I wish we could have done better or done different, but you have to work within your budget, and we actually went over the budget just to try to make it right. But the other stuff we can take care of over time. The most important thing is this is a very safe, comfortable, spacious house for a family. They can live safely in here and comfortably in here and have a nice life. We can worry about the fencing, we can worry about the vinyl siding, we can worry about the garage and the shed over time as we figure out what the best way to use those spaces is, and well, that's no big deal. So if you have questions about it, let us know. We'd love to hear your thoughts on it. It is for rent currently. Probably by the time this video gets out, Lord willing, it's filled, but yeah, that is it. 6 months.
6 months tomorrow.
A substantial amount of debt and a lot of effort.
Blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, literally. The amount of times I smashed my finger to the point of ripping my flesh off and bleeding everywhere, putting in the flooring alone was significantly a lot. So, you know, we put our heart into it, and hopefully somebody will enjoy it. There's Kai Kai.